Welcome to another Connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King, thanks for joining us this week on our Connection show. We have new shows each week and try to have different organizations come in and individuals from those organizations to tell what's going on around our viewing area. We have a lot of great organizations here, and they do a lot of things, but most of the time you got to get the word out so the right people understand where and when these meetings and programs are. So we hope we do help get that information out a little bit. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll have two people here to talk about a big event coming up, a very important one.
Sam Alexander Pharmacy has expanded and is now offering many additional products and services. Their new pharmaceutical compounding area allows them to create products to fit the unique needs of a customer. They also have added Spinco orthotic shoes and sandals, Dr. Comfort diabetic shoes, baby gifts by Aiden and Anais, and toys by Melissa and Doug. Stop in today and let them help you with any of your specialty pharmaceutical needs. Sam Alexander Pharmacy, your local Health Mart pharmacy in Harrison.
Here's another satisfied client from Dental Creations of Harrison.
My husband and I both needed to have dentures. I had looked online and we saw a picture of Wanda, just something about her. I thought this is the place we're going to do. And I called in and spoke with Dave, and he was just tremendous. He answered every single question the first call and told us what our copay would be. It was just an awesome experience.
Dental Creations on the square in Harrison, next to the Big Red Boot.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Our guest in the studio for the first half of the show today, Elaine Arthur and Josh Bright. Josh, you've been with us before, and Elaine, thank you for coming in and contacting us. Healthy Living Day 2016, Living with Diabetes. And I'm sure people in the viewing audience, if you don't know of anyone who has diabetes, you're probably one of the few, because it affects millions of people across the country. Thank you both for coming in. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
You've got an event coming up. Josh, I'll let you kind of kick it off.
Sure.
Let's talk about this event that you're going to be having coming up on July 30th.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate you having us out. Healthy Living Day, Living with Diabetes, is going to be a full-day event for the community, for anyone who has diabetes, cares for someone with diabetes, or is just interested in knowing more. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in about 12 speakers to talk about everything from eating well to using medications correctly, down to the feet. So we're even going to talk about foot care with these speakers. And throughout the day, we'll have food and snacks and some door prizes and great things like that. And we really want it to be a showcase of the services and the people in our community who care about diabetes and who are going to help you with diabetes. And we're going to feed you and we're going to take care of you that day. And it's going to be on July 30th at the Duran Center from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Let me ask you something. Sure. before we move over to Elaine here. Diabetes, as we mentioned, affects a lot of people. We're going to talk about some numbers here in just a moment. But it's one of those things where you mentioned the feet, and you mentioned diet, and you mentioned exercise, weight. There's so many things that if you're a diabetic, and I know there's different levels of diabetes, but you really, there's so many different things that you can do to affect the outcome, so to speak, for diabetes.
Absolutely. You know. Unlike some disease states, diabetes is very treatable, and in some cases it can be delayed or prevented with proper intervention. And that's part of what we're going to teach at this workshop is how you can prevent and delay the diabetes. And if you have diabetes, that it's not a life sentence. It doesn't have to be scary. And there are a lot of people who want to support and care for you in this community, because diabetes is really a community disease, and we want to tackle this problem from the aspect of a community.
Yeah, I noticed in some of the questions that they sent to me, Josh, that it's over 10% of the adults in our community have diabetes. That's a pretty high percentage.
Absolutely. Arkansas in general is high in the nation, but our area specifically, Boone County and the surrounding area, over 10% of the adults will have diabetes, and we think that up to a quarter of people may have conditions that will lead to diabetes, something called pre-diabetes. And someone who has pre-diabetes, this mix of factors that can lead to diabetes, if we catch it early and we treat it right, we can prevent and delay someone getting diabetes, and we want to do that on a larger scale, on a community scale.
Okay, so let me ask you one quick question, and I want to go to Elaine.
Sure.
Do you like a lot of, like heart disease, for instance? So do I have a chance of getting diabetes even if I exercise, eat right, so on and so forth? Do I have genes sometimes that can get the ball rolling with diabetes?
Absolutely. One of the common misconceptions is that diabetes is a disease purely of lifestyle, that it's a disease because I didn't eat right, because I didn't exercise, because of this or that, but that's not entirely true. A lot of it is genetic. We know that in families, diabetes can run from generation to generation. We know that certain ethnic groups have a higher rate of diabetes. And so one of the things that we want to dispel is the myth that diabetes is simply a disease of lifestyle. We know lifestyle affects it, and we know that changing lifestyle can prevent or delay the onset of diabetes, but it is not just a lifestyle disease.
So you can get diabetes even though you may do all the right things, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There are some things that aren't under your physical control.
Right.
And those are the things that we have our wonderful doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals to take care of for you.
Like many diseases out there, whether it be heart disease or cancer or whatever, I know diabetes, early detection is obviously a very important factor to figure out if you do or if you're a candidate for diabetes. A preventive maintenance, so to speak, ahead of time sure makes a big difference in it.
Absolutely. So getting screened is important if you're at risk, something to talk to your doctor about. Many workplaces will offer screenings. The hospital will offer screenings at certain events throughout the year, such as Crawdad Days or coming up with our Fall Festival.
Sure.
Those are good chances to get a basic screening. And then talking to your doctor about it and learning as much as you can is what's really going to help us in the long run.
Right. Elaine, let's talk about the event that's coming up. Who came up with this? I mean, who's sponsoring this event?
There's a lot of sponsors. The biggest one is the Boone County Diabetic Collaborative, and that's North Arkansas Regional Medical Center. It also includes their physician affiliates clinics. There's also the Community Health Resource Center,
Sure.
And then North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education, and then Crossroads Medical Clinic and Healthy Harvest. Just kind of got together.
And is this the first? I mean, have you done this several years now? I can't remember.
This is the first time.
It's the first time.
I became a PCMH coordinator, and I just really saw that big old need, and we decided, to work with everybody else because it has to be a community event that we get everybody together.
Tell me, what's PCH?
It's a managed care program.
Okay.
That we make sure that patients are getting those testings that they need done, that we're
Okay.
not missing things, that
Okay.
if you have a 5,000 population, that we go in and make sure that they're getting their screening so that we don't miss things like prediabetes that leads to heart disease and other problems.
Okay. Sounds great. The collaborative, so to speak, how does this work? How's that kind of work?
Sure. So one of the really unique things about our community is we, as a community, have a way of coming together and solving community problems. And this is what the Boone County Diabetes Collaborative is all about.
Okay.
And a couple of years ago, several organizations in town got together and said, we have to do something coordinated to make sure that in the long run, diabetes doesn't affect our community like it is today. If we continue on the path we are today, it doesn't look good in 20 years. So several organizations got together and we formed a diabetes support group. We felt like that was probably the first place to start, is that we could offer free education to anyone that was interested when education wasn't quite as available as we wished. So now the first Thursday of every month at the Duran Center, there's a free diabetes support group and education meeting where a healthcare professional from our community comes and gives a talk. And we generally have a dietitian and a pharmacist and nurses and usually a physician present to answer questions. And we've had really good success with that. And this event that we're talking about today is kind of the buildup of that that sort of thing. This is like more intensive education that we would give at a support group meeting.
Yeah, I know we get the announcements, all the announcements from North Arkansas Regional Medical Center, and I know that's one thing that I see the first Thursday of each month. And I understand you have a pretty good group of attendees for this.
We do. We generally run 40 to 60 people.
Oh, fantastic.
And we would love to see that grow. We're one of the bigger community support groups in the state, and we would love to see the community keep growing that type of service.
Well, we've got about 4 minutes. I'm going to kick back over to you. How do we register for this event?
You can call Crossroads Medical Clinic and ask for myself, Elaine Arthur. My number is 870-741-3600. You can also register by email, and that email is earthur@wregional.com.
Okay. And obviously you'd like to get people registered as soon as possible.
Yeah, we've actually extended the deadline because I'm starting to get a lot of people, and we're going to register through July 25th.
Fantastic. So that gives people
plenty of
until
time.
about 5 days for the event.
We want as many people there as we can.
Vendors and stuff, are you going to have some vendors
lots
there?
Lots of vendors. The pharmacies in town, Sam's, we've got Nikki's Hometown Pharmacy, we've got Essential Oils, we've got J. Pino Diabetic Supplies, and they're all bringing door prizes. We even have one of our largest door prizes is a 1-year gym membership to a local gym here. Which really benefits them if they're learning, to be more healthy and exercise.
So the concept as far as this event, if I'm correct, is that you're going to have vendor booths set up? Is that kind of the way you're going to do it?
Yeah, they'll be at the end of the conference. They will be covered until then, and then at the end they'll be able to walk around and visit all the booths and to see what type of services are provided within our community to help them with diabetes.
At this point in time, if anyone was out there just found out about it, but I'm sure most of the vendors already knew, can a vendor still sign up?
Yep. As many people that want to come out that are providing services, we want them all there.
Okay. And this, some of the vendor groups, you'll have obviously people that supply diabetes products.
Any type of things, essential oils, lotions, soaps. Diabetic patients do have a hard time with dry skin, so we're trying to get anything out there that involves the diabetic community that we can help them with.
Okay, so you're going to have giveaway baskets.
I've got about 60 door prizes so
far.
Wow,
nice.
So.
And the grand prize is a membership to the fitness club. So if you want to get that grand prize. Anything else? Did we miss anything on this that we need to talk about? It's, obviously, the key right now is, if you're interested in this, it's July 30th at the Durand Center, is to get signed up, because they need to know how many people are going to be there, obviously, so they keep track with what all the services and so forth and the prizes, etc. And it's going to be from what to what? What time?
We'll start not really pre-registering, but checking everybody in at 8 o'clock. The conference will start at 9, and we will do our darndest to be done by 3 o'clock.
Okay, and it's what day is that?
That is on a Saturday, July 30th,
so
at the Durand Center.
A lot of people are off work.
Yes, we tried to plan it that way.
Attend. Saturday's about as good a day as you can have it. Well, obviously, with the number of attendees that you guys are getting, Josh, at your first Thursday of each month that are already attending the diabetes support group, with that base out there, and then the people out there that are going to, if they want to take it to the next level, as you were talking about, this is more intense than what they're getting at those meetings on the first Thursday of each month. They definitely need to attend this and make sure that they go to it. So hopefully I hope you have hundreds of people there, because it'd be great to touch those people, and if you can help one person that maybe doesn't know all the aspects of diabetes and how to keep control of it and how to live with it. So that's the whole thing.
Yes.
We do appreciate both of you coming in, Elaine Arthur and of course Josh Bright with us today, talking about the event coming up on July 30th. Don't forget, it's on a Saturday. Start around 8. Should be done by 3 at the Durand Center here in Harrison. And if you'd like to know more about diabetes and what goes along with it, how to control it, and listen to the professionals talk about it. And the vendors will be there, and you may see things that you didn't realize are available for those with diabetes. Thank you both again. Good luck with your event, and come back again and see us soon.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We're going to talk with a young lady that you all know. She's from the Boone County Library. She'll be talking about all the events and all the things that go on at the library.
Spring has arrived in the Ozarks. This is Brent Carell inviting you to Carell Family Gardens and Gifts in Harrison. Whether you need an entirely new landscape or simply need a rose to brighten up a corner of your backyard, we have a large selection of trees and shrubs. We also have Harrison's largest selection of pottery, from terracotta clay pots to gorgeous glazed pots in every imaginable color, shape, and size. Perhaps you're looking for garden benches, outdoor pillows, fountains, lanterns, or maybe just the right gift for someone? We have an array of home decor and gift items. Maybe you need something for your young children or grandchildren? We carry a full inventory of fun items to create fairy gardens and yard art. Are you ready to garden? We carry all the spring vegetables and seeds you need to get your garden growing, along with compost and fertilizer. As the weather continues to warm, we'll have a dizzying display of blooming annuals, perennials, hanging baskets, ferns, roses, and hydrangeas. Carell Family Gardens and Gifts is your locally owned garden and home store located at the north end of Goblin Drive at Industrial Park Road.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Our second guest in the studio today is from the Boone County Library, Ginger Milan. And Ginger, at the last minute, filled in when I needed her to. We had an organization that couldn't make the show today, and I had to move them, and she graciously stepped in. Thank you, Ginger, for coming in. I appreciate it. You're always there when we need you.
Well, thank you so much. We always have a lot going on.
Well, you do have a lot.
Yeah.
The Boone County Library does so much. I mean, it's amazing, and we're going to talk about some of the things. Here we are, end of the month, going in July. What's coming up? What you got coming up in the near future?
Well, it's our summer reading program. It's been going on for about 3 weeks now, and we have many, many people who registered, from toddlers up through senior citizens, and lots of programming associated with that. And one program in particular I want to mention is occurring on July the 21st at 10 a.m. during our regular story time. This is a program, a wildlife program presented by the Natural History Education Center of the Mid-South, and it is brought to our community through a grant from Community First Bank. They are helping to pay for this programming, and it will be at the Lyric Theater. So we are grateful to the Ozark Arts Council for enabling us to do it there. And when I say wild animals, we're not talking about lions and tigers.
No elephants.
No elephants. These are small animals that would probably be known as super smart. So last year they did the same program at the Lyric, and we had over 100 people show up, counting the parents and grandparents who were there. So you want to come for this. It's really a good program.
Is the date that you gave there, is that on us during
the
week?
21st? Yes, it is. That would either be a Tuesday or a Wednesday, because those are the days we have story time. Yeah, so that will be great. In addition, in the children's department, every Monday is movie day all day long. So you just come in, have a seat in front of the TV, and watch whatever movie's showing. For July 11th, the movie is Home. July the 18th, the Lego Movie. July the 25th is Frozen. So it just cycles all day long. So, and then the teen department also has a movie day. It's every Friday at 1:30. The Maze Runner, Mockingjay, Allegiant, The Duff, Star Wars, The Force Awakens. So that's at a specific time. And there'll be popcorn and snacks and drinks. In addition to those special events, regular story time, we have special guests all summer. Ronald McDonald will be there one day, Cat in a Hat. We have a rock climber who's going to come and talk about that. Her name is Kim Trueblood. Chuck Speece is a geologist, and he nearly always makes an appearance during our summer reading program to talk about rocks. A tour of the police department. And then our young adults, they have a book club, and actually their book club meets every Tuesday at 4. And instead of discussing the whole book at one sitting, it's broken down into chapters. So if your children like to read, that would be a great thing to be involved with. And it's for 12 and up.
Fantastic.
Now, I do adult programming, and we have several things coming up. We have Trevor Mills, who is a private lands biologist with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, and he's going to do a program on your property. If you have, maybe 3 or 4 acres or more, he's going to tell you how you can create a wildlife habitat there, and all the resources available to you to help you establish that. So I think there'll be a lot of interest in that. Yes, I was thinking when you mentioned quail earlier when we were visiting, I was thinking about that because, the quail have diminished a lot in recent years. So hopefully we can bring back more of those kinds of birds and other wildlife. But that program's July the 12th at 5:30. And as you know, we have our monthly book clubs for adults. Noon Book Club meets the third Wednesday of each month, and Evening Book Club meets the first Thursday of each month. So those two things just continue to grow, and lots of interest there.
Let me stop you just a second, Ginger.
Okay.
You're looking through these pages here. Something that those of you out there may not know, and Ginger will be happy to put you on the list. Mm-hmm. They do a newsletter every month. And if you'd like to have a newsletter, you can sign up for a newsletter. And it's really good because it walks you through at least a 30-day period of time at the library and all the activities, so you can clip it on your refrigerator or put it wherever you keep your calendar of events coming up. And there's always something different. And they have the normal thing that you would find at the library all the time. But they email us a copy of their newsletter here at the studios every month, and it's great information. I like to look and see what's happening, just like the special events that Ginger just talked about. But I wanted to plug the fact that if they'd like to sign up, how would they get?
Well, you can email me at gingermilan@boonecountylibrary.org. Okay. Everything's spelled out. You can go to our website and read it there. There's a link for the newsletter. You can call the library to get signed up, or you can come by. Okay. The good thing about the newsletter, it's not a history of the past. No. It tells us everything that's coming up in that month, and I really work hard to get it out the last day of the month or the first day of the month. And I almost laughed when you mentioned my paperwork here. This is the incomplete newsletter. I'm still working on it, but my goal is to get it out on Thursday, which is June 30th. And it's close. It's close. We do have a book signing coming up later in the month. I think it's really ironic. We used to have a librarian, Marilyn Smith, who unfortunately died a few years ago, but we have an author by the same name, Marilyn K. Smith, who wrote a book about the history of Highway 65. So she's coming to speak, and I think that'll be really interesting. She primarily concentrates on Missouri, southern Missouri, but she does go as far as Marshall in the book. So I think that will be a great program.
Speaking of programs, I've noticed through the years that we've been doing programs with Ginger and the people at the Boone County Library, is that a lot of these programs that they do, not all of them, but a lot of them are based on what's happened or is happening in our area here, and not necessarily doesn't have anything to do with international or national all the time, although they do have programs that do. But a lot of your programs that you've had, I recall in the past, have had to do with the Buffalo River, or birds in this area, or butterflies in this area, or bees and beekeepers and whatever. I'm just thinking of some of the things in past years that you've done, which is great information, and a lot of, if I'm kind of into nostalgia, but a lot of this is not just necessarily nostalgia that's happened, but it's things that are happening now. And I like the way you mix that up.
We do try to mix it up. We try to touch on cultural things, history, society, but also wildlife and science. And so, and anyone, if you have an idea for a program that you'd like to suggest, I'm always open to suggestions. And of course, we do have the book signings. We probably have one every 3 months or so. And A lot of times those authors are regional authors. I would love to bring in some nationally known authors, but that gets pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So we do that, and it gives the authors an opportunity to speak about their book. We'll have a book signing where they can sell their book, and it just makes it interesting.
Well, and not only that, Ginger, I know in past years and that you've had, we have a lot of artists in this area, and they'll have displays of local artists. I mean, painting, sculpture, whatever.
Right.
You've had some really good displays through the years of
and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because this week we'll end the mezzanine exhibit for the area art teachers. There's some fabulous pieces of art hanging there now, and sculpture in our display cases. So you want to see that. And then next month, in July, we will be featuring one of our employees. Jason Davis is a photographer, and so he's going to display his photography during the month of July.
Nice.
And September, we always have the Ozark Mountain studio tour artist, and so it makes it. We have a really nice space.
You do have.
To
you have a lot of
display
nice space
art
for displaying. I just want to mention something, and she talks about all the different things that they do. But genealogy is a big thing. I know it's one of the probably growing areas.
Oh, yes.
I hear people talk about it all the time.
Yes.
But genealogy, if somebody wanted to come down and get on the computer and
Sure. Tina Farmer is our genealogist, and she is just terrific at her job. She loves. She could be a detective because she loves to try to solve that mystery, and she has inquiries on the phone and through email from all over the country. And
that's fantastic.
She also has a collection of pictures from Boone County that go way, way back, and she's always open to receiving more. If you have old pictures, you can bring them there. She will scan them. And they never leave your site. You don't mail them to her or drop them off. Just bring them by. She'll scan them, and then you take them home with you.
Wow.
So
that's good. I know that's very popular. Genealogy. People are wanting to know, their past and the family, where they came from, or whatever.
Well, it's fascinating.
It is fascinating, And
I've told her if I ever have any time off, I'm going to come spend time with her.
Doesn't sound like you're going to have a whole lot of time. No. Let's see. Got a couple minutes left. Obviously, the Boone County Library. If you think about it like this, if you want a place to go, it doesn't cost you anything, and you can go there. And anymore, you've got the ebooks. You can get on. If you don't like the hardcover, they've got ebooks in the system. If maybe you want to apply for a job, you want to do a resume, you can go there and do a resume. Right. You can use your systems for a lot of different things.
Right. We have a lot of people who work on resumes and job applications using our computers. I did want to mention the DAV.
Okay.
They are there every Thursday from 10 to 4 to offer their assistance to veterans who need help untangling all the rules and regulations and bureaucracy involved in getting the aid that they are entitled to. And we also have adult coloring the second Wednesday of each month at 1 o'clock. You just come in, sit down, pick out something to color, and color.
Always something to do at the Boone County Library. And Ginger does a wonderful job. The reason I wanted to plug the newsletter, because I knew she's the person that put it together. And but if you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, go by, you get online or whatever. It's great information. You get one every month. You'll see what's going on. Don't miss some of the activities they have at the Boone County Library. It's your library, and we're fortunate at a small town like this, small area, to have the Boone County Library. Again, thanks for filling in at the last minute, Ginger. I appreciate it. Get back to me soon, and let's keep this thing going.
All right,
thanks for joining us on Connection today. We hope we brought some good information to you. Join us each week as we have different organizations and individuals come in and talk about what's going on around the world.